Hello, fellow cyborgs, and welcome to another book tag. Today I'm going to be doing the Would You Rather tag. That was created by Rachel Reeds, and I was tagged by Merle from A Blackbird's Books. I will link both of their videos down below. Question number 1. Would you rather read only trilogies or standalones? This is such an easy question, standalones. I much prefer standalones to series or trilogies because I like not having to commit to multiple books. I like being invested in a world for only one book's length and knowing that that author then has put everything and all into that one book. In trilogies, I think, trilogies and series, authors get a lot more leeway than maybe they should be allowed. You often hear, oh, the first book's not that great, but the series gets wonderful. The world building wasn't really fleshed out in book 1, but you get to hear about it more in books 2 and 3, and some of these trilogies have their first book having over 500 pages. So the fact that you have to invest 500, 1,000 pages before the book series pays off, standalones for me. Would you rather read only female or male authors? I'm going to have to be gender biased and say female authors simply because a lot of my favorite books are written by female authors, and I also feel that most of the time I'm drawn to themes that female authors play with more. Well, for instance, I haven't read very many super violent, grim, bloody books written by a woman, and I can off the top of my head think of a couple male authors who write in that sort of tone, and I don't really like that tone. I would, if I had to, read only female authors. Question 3, would you rather shop only at Barnes & Noble's or at Amazon? I would prefer neither. So if this question is really asking, would you rather shop physically in stores or online? Characteristically, I prefer shopping online. However, I would love to find a bookstore near me that could be a resource for my book purchasing. So if they don't have the book in store, then I could order it through them and give them that revenue. But where I'm going to be moving in California, there actually isn't a bookstore, one bookstore in that city proper. We have cities around us, that do have bookstores, but we technically don't have one, which is very disappointing. So I'm going to have to go on the search for nearby cities and bookstores and see if I can find a place that I want to frequent, because online shopping has its downfalls as well, especially if you want a specific pretty book. Question 4. Would you rather all books become movies or TV shows? I would prefer they become movies simply because I watch more movies than TV shows. I don't actually watch live TV anymore. I most of the time just get the DVD collections of series out from the library after they've all been published. I mostly just watch the YouTubes. So since I more habitually watch movies, I think I would prefer books being translated into movies if they had to be translated at all. And I love movies. So, huzzah movies! Question number 5. Would you rather read 5 pages a day or 5 books per week? Easy question. I would rather read 5 books per week because I have been getting used to reading lots of different things and reading, a lot more than I ever thought I could. And if I were limited to 5 pages a day, that would certainly make me savor my reading time more. But since these days I read for at least 2.5 hours a day, those 5 pages would only take like 15 minutes, and I don't know what I would do with myself if I didn't read for a couple hours a day. What would I fill that up with instead? Probably more YouTube. Do I need more YouTube? Question number 6. Would you rather be a professional reviewer or author? I would rather be a professional reviewer because for me, there's a lot of pressure that is surrounding writing and the idea of authorship. I don't know if I'd want to make that creative aspect hobby that I have into a job. I think I would prefer to just keep that as a hobby. And though I'm not a professional by any means, I do a lot of book reviewing here on my channel, so I'm a bit more used to that. And as being a book reviewer, you would then be encouraged to keep reading, which is something that I want to continue doing. Question number 7. Would you rather read your top 20 books over and over again or always read new books. I would rather reread my top 20 books over and over again. And I actually am planning on making a video surrounding this topic coming up soon. So keep your eyes open for that video where you will hear this crazy pants explain why she would just want to reread for the rest of her life. Question number 8. Would you rather be a librarian or a bookseller? I would rather be a bookseller simply because I utilize bookshops more than libraries myself. However, I know that with any retail job, that comes with drawbacks like you have to sell the rewards program. And, oh, you wanted to spend time with your family over the holidays? Sorry, we need you to be in the store because people didn't buy their Christmas presents before Christmas Eve and that sort of crap. So that would stink, but I do think that I would enjoy being a bookseller more than a librarian, simply because I enjoy bookshops more than libraries. Question number 9. Would you rather read only your favorite genre or every other genre but your favorite? I think I would pick only my favorite genre. What that is, I have no idea, but if I could pinpoint what my favorite genre would be, I think that I would rather stick to that than read all the other things, simply because I, a lot of the time, don't deviate all that much from my favorite genre, or at least, I think I read similar sorts of books most of the time, though it would break my heart to give up graphic novels, which is one of the genres that I read, but it's not my favorite. Nonfiction, that would break my heart. I don't think that science fiction or fantasy proper would be my favorite genre anymore, and that would be sad not to be able to dip into that world. But if you were giving me this impossible question, I would have to say favorite genre only. Question 10, would you rather read only physical books or only ebooks? So my answer is only physical books. However, I just want to chew on this idea of only reading ebooks because it has something that I really like about it. That I no longer will be buying books because they're pretty or based on their cover. That would be completely gone. So all that consumerism and marketing that gets sucked into book reading would be gone for me. The only thing that might get me would be hype about things, but that gets me anyway with physical books. I would then be able to live a minimalist lifestyle. The next time I have to move, I'd only have to bring my 2-pound Kindle with me rather than 17 boxes of very, very heavy books. That sounds a little bit delightful. And also, I would be able to adjust the font size and light my screen up, which means that when I get old and need to switch to large print books, I wouldn't have to rebuy anything. I would just be able to change the text size to really big 72-point font, and I'd be good to go to read anything. And also, with that backlight, because I have a Kindle Paperwhite, I would be able to lie down and read in bed one-handed for every single thing. That sounds kind of amazing. However, I would miss the physicality of paperback books. I think that the formatting might be iffy in some sort of things like A Tale for the Time Being with intense footnotes. How would that show up on a Kindle? And different font changes to denote who's speaking. The Kindle can't really do that because you pick the one font you want, and then the only differentiation it could make is with italicized, bold, or underlined things. So the aesthetic of the actual text would be lost. But I would not be heartbroken, is I guess my point. I would pick physical books over Kindle books right now, but if I decided one day that I could not afford to keep books around, I somehow became nomadic, if as long as I had my Kindle and electricity and Wi-Fi, I would still be able to be a reader and still be okay with how I'm doing that. Okay, so that was the Would You Rather tag. I thought that was actually really fun. I'm going to tag some people to do this too, because that's what you do with tag videos. So tag you're it, Acacia Ives, Sophie from Portal in the Pages, Michaela and Gretchen of the channel Michaela Rochilla, Frankie from Frankie Reads, and Marie Berg. So I hope that some of you decide to do this tag video. That's what we've been doing, tag videos, which makes you face some of the hard decisions and potentially reevaluate how you've been doing things. Who would have thought that I would actually entertain the idea of only reading on ebook? Interesting. I hope you had fun watching. Thank you for watching, and until next time, continue to be lovely. You're superb.